And employers like, okay, that's what employers want to hire for, is people who understand JavaScript framework. So yeah, so
And
I
it's
think
and
it's
it's
huge.
cool
Like,
because already they're using JavaScript frameworks. It wasn't waiting like, oh, I'm gonna learn
yeah,
HTML now. Let me wrap my head around CSS. I'm gonna dive into that for 3 months. Oh, but then JavaScript, that's hard. Maybe I'll do like 6 months or a year of that. It's like, no, start with Next.js because that's what people want. Let's start with Next.js. Guess what? 4 weeks later, you've got a
Well,
Next.js
I
app.
think that's the biggest problem is like, and I think I found this starting out too. I know you guys did too. Is like nobody gives you information on like the right path to take, and I think that's what we built too. Because like, there's no reason to spend for you could spend forever learning JavaScript. JavaScript's a huge language. It does a ton of stuff, but the reality is like
yeah,
you need to put it in action, and putting it
yeah,
in action means using frameworks and stuff because nobody's going to ask you to use vanilla because it just takes too long and it's
yeah,
too, it's too much prone to errors and problems. That's why there's all this stuff out there in these tools, and you need to know them. Just like you need to know Git. Like you have to know GitHub if you're gonna, code. I mean, it's important. It's
yeah,
like those kind of things are essential, and that's what we focus on. I think that's the main thing.
yeah. I mean, you made me think of like this YouTuber that I've watched a couple of times who's a software developer, and he's built I think he's built like 15 or 20 web apps, and he's made himself over $500,000 on these web apps, right? Totally designed by himself. And they're simple web apps that just do a few small things. But he talks about this all the time. He talks about how the end user, the person who, whether that's a company or that's like an actual end user, they don't care about the invisible, right? They don't care about the 50 different technologies that you know. They care that the app works, right? And that it's safe to use. And so he even says this. He's like, I don't, he uses React and Next.js to build his apps. And he's like, I don't know every single thing about Next.js, but I know the basics. And really, all you need to know is a few hooks like use state, use effect, and you can build pretty much anything you want. He
Yeah.
understands how to interact with a database. And he's like, I built apps that, you know, tens of thousands of people use. Like the same with myself. I built apps that
Yeah.
10,000 plus people use, and they're built simply with like a few things in React that are very repetitive. So you can spend all this time learning JavaScript for years and years and years, but the quicker that you jump, like you dip that foot in the pool and you jump into learning a JavaScript framework and understanding these more advanced technologies, which really, when you get down to it, are just as simple as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's just a different way of thinking about things.
Well, that's the other thing I think is that you find when you start learning software development is that think about it, everything on a computer is ones and zeros at the end of the day. It has to be broken down in the
Yeah,
most simple way possible. And I think that's why, this stuff looks so confusing at first, but once you start to work with it, you realize like, oh, it's like you're building with the tiniest possible blocks. So yes,
yeah,
sometimes if you want to do something, it takes a lot of code because you have to do a lot of things to make that thing work. There's a lot of little steps. But once you realize that, none of it's that scary because it's just like, okay, I just got to figure out the next baby step. That'll get me into the next part, then the next part, and you just build that up into an app. It's like
yeah,
really cool.
exactly. Yeah, Chris made a good comment. He's like, I feel like even if I knew JavaScript inside and out, I still wouldn't be able to build a next app. And it's true because like knowing everything about JavaScript means nothing when it comes to knowing like Next.js because it's a whole different like ball game on its own. It's
Yeah.
like so you have to just learn Next.js too. It uses JavaScript. It's a JavaScript framework, but you learn it by actually doing it because the patterns that you see when you're building a Next.js app are exclusive to Next.js. Like you're not going to see these patterns repeated in vanilla JavaScript too much.
No, but you do repeat the same stuff over and over too. A lot of stuff is repetitive, and I
In
think that's the
in yeah,
in
in
anything,
the
in any
framework.
kind of yeah, in any kind of any framework, even in just any development, because you're going to be doing a lot of the same
Yeah,
stuff over and over again. So I think like yeah, in terms of getting in the habit of it, just get in the habit of coding and get in the habit of doing these things, and you'll see over and over, you'll start to develop that muscle memory that helps you like kind of get faster and faster at this and be able to build things. Like now, I mean like dude, I can build things now in a couple hours that used to take me weeks or months,
oh
because
dude,
like
totally.
yeah,
I
it's
mean, the amount
crazy.
that I got done on like half a plane ride with no Wi-Fi is mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
literally, like
it's
I
crazy.
built like multiple modals, like a whole multiple page sections, like a lot in just a short amount of time.